Hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. It's Connor here. We're back here with another episode of One Leeds. We're back here with another preview. We're back here discussing Daniel Farke's press conference. And yeah, guys, we've got an additional video on the Patreon talking about the redevelopment of Ellen Road, the 55,000-seater plans that Leeds United, Parag Murat and Leeds architectural firms and design firms have in within the city. So really interesting discussion on the Patreon. We spoke about it a little bit earlier on Rumour Mill. And it was basically getting your guys' thoughts on, can Leeds United generate the same amount of noise? Can we generate the same amount of atmosphere? What do we think is going to be the percentage of tourists? When do we think this is going to happen? Really interesting discussion. So this morning we've done that on the Rumour Mill. It's on the Patreon if you want a bonus sort of discussion basis around what's going on at Ellen Road. So first thing with the press conference that I want to speak on is the obvious. Leeds United's left-back issues. Daniel Farke has said that once again, as we've literally so abundantly obvious at this point, that it's just quite frustrating that the club have gone into this period of the season without a left back when we were all crying for it in the summer because A, we knew Junior Firpo was injury prone and not good enough, and B, Sam Byram was injury prone and not a left back, even though he's doing really well at the minute. And guess what's happened? Have a wild guess if you've not been keeping up with Leeds United proceedings. Yes, Junior Firpo is now out for 3 to 4 weeks with a hamstring injury. It's completely pointless. There's no point in even talking about this guy featuring for Leeds United. It is just, there's no point, there's no need, there's no necessary requirement. Look, he's a nice guy. He spoke on a podcast and everybody got a bit giddy about him not leaving for whatever reason. But listen, seems like a really nice guy. Seems like his heart's in it for Leeds. He's been surrounded by rumours this week from Sport, which are normally a really decent publication, of him leaving in January. But I just would be trying my absolute hardest to get rid of him in January. Now, we have 3 weeks till he's even back. Is his stock even going to be high after this injury? Probably not. Can his agent do a madness/miracle? You'd hope so. There is absolutely no need or requirement, as I've mentioned before, to keep this guy at the club. Now, there's many people that you kind of want to still see leave Leeds United when it comes to personnel and when it comes to people who aren't going to feature in that first team and add anything to that first team. And we all know those names, and we're going to speak about another name in just a little bit. But when you're actually still getting, it's almost comical. He gets back in and there's an argument with quality. There's always an argument with quality when it comes to fair, but is he good enough to actually feature in the Championship? Is he good enough? Not for me. Is he fit enough? So you're having two separate conversations about Junior Firpo. Is he good enough? And is he fit enough? And neither hit the standard. Once again, he's out for 3 weeks, which leaves the onus in a massively busy Christmas period, a hugely busy Christmas period, which is the toughest of the season, on Sam Byram. And I will criticise the club for this. I will. Because, don't get me wrong, Sam Byram was a really good addition. But did the club rely on that? Did the club genuinely think that Sam Byram was going to make it through as many games as he had? Absolutely not. Hence why they initially offered him a trial period because of his injury woes at Norwich, West Ham and Nottingham Forest. You know, is this ever going to be a long-term thing with Sam? We hope so. But it really just irks me that they were after Charlie Taylor. They looked at Scott Teamon, and they still didn't get a left-back done, a necessary position. There's no point crying over spilt milk, but this is something that we have to discuss because we are now going into a really, really congested period when Sam Byram was injured less than a week ago, relying on a man who is injury-prone, has a machine with him at every away match to try and get his leg through games, and we've left ourselves in this predicament, and it is very, very naive from the club to let this happen because left-back is a very, very important position with the quality of wingers that are in this league. So it is very, very frustrating for me because I'd have understood if Firpo's come back all of a sudden and he's had a clean bill of health and he's performing well as well. But that's not the case. He's come back, he's looked rusty, if we're being brutally honest. There's goals that he can attribute coming down his side when he's been way out of position, and now he's injured again. Listen, I feel sorry for the guy, but once again, we're at this point where the quality of that side just isn't good enough. It just is not good enough. So, yeah, really, really frustrating from my point of view. Because, you know, you get within the squad for about probably the first time since prior Marcelo Bielsa. You get close to a fully fit squad, and then he's out again. I think it is frustrating. It'll be frustrating for you guys as well. Listen, it is what it is. We've got to move on. But he was speaking about Luke Ayling as well, and where Luke's going to be featuring in this Leeds United, way forward. And he's essentially said that Farke talking more about Ayling and leaving him out of the squad, so it's difficult, and not like FIFA where you just press buttons and there's no emotions. I always go with the truth, and I think that's a good thing. We also know that Gelhart's going to be out for this one. Those are the new concerns after Swansea, which somehow, listen, I know Gelhart's not going to feature, but Gelhart's out and Firpo's out. It's just crazy, isn't it? In a 2 to 3 day period, how you go from fully fit to two other players being out, even though they're probably not going to be starting for Leeds United, in the starting 11. But Junior Firpo maybe will have done under Sam Byram. It gives the onus for Sam Byram to lose his position now, but I mean, who's he losing it to? Who's waiting there? Does this mean Shackleton will be like sort of a deputy at left back potentially? But you also spoke about Sam Greenwood, and he's ineligible for tomorrow. Farke has said that we're happy with how he's progressing the right way. When you loan a player out, you want them to be that to work that way, which he's done really, really well. The situation for him was unlucky due to injury pre-season. And it'd been difficult. Look, I don't get this. I think the issue with a lot of Leeds fans is the £1.5 million obligation that Borough have to sign Sam Greenwood. But in terms of him being within this Leeds United side, he's never getting in. Never, ever getting into this Leeds side. So, yeah, put that part back. But the £1.5 million thing, I can't understand. It wouldn't have been that much more that we'd have got for him, maybe £3 million, which I think what we initially signed him for. But yeah. I understand why people are slightly, marginally frustrated with that one. So, we move on to Middlesbrough, and they're looking good. I mentioned it this morning. I think Michael Carrick's a really good manager. He's someone who I wanted Leeds to go for before Farke. I think, you're seeing them, if you're looking at the form right now, I think Borough have turned, obviously, with the poor results they had at the start of the season. They've really turned into a decent side. They did lose to Bristol City on Saturday, 3-2, but they have beaten Leicester and Southampton. Away from home, they've lost to Bristol City. As we've said, they've drawn to Plymouth, and their the last recent away result as well, they actually got a result at Norwich, beat them 2-1, but Norwich are in free fall at the minute. The notable win they had this season away from home was the Sunderland game. And if we just take a quick look at their starting 11, Zaya Jones is probably one of the danger men, I'd say. Johnny Howson's in there as well. Paddy McNair, decent defender. And when you sort of look at the bench, it's not a bad bench for Borough. Sam Greenwood obviously came on. Hayden Coulson, who's been doing okay. But I think overall, you do look at this Borough side and think they're strong. They're a strong unit. They play some decent style of football as well. But Leeds have got to be getting this job done. We've got to be getting this job done. For me, it's a more than winnable game. Crooks in there, but Barley, so I believe he was formerly of Preston as well. But Leeds have got to be getting this job done. There's no real excuse. It's going to be one of the tougher games of the season for me. It's not going to be like the walkover that we saw when we battered them 4-0 with Marcelo Bielsa. I think this is going to be a really tough encounter for Leeds United. I'm going to predict, once again, I predict 2-1 the other day, but I'm going to predict 2-1 again. I think Leeds are going to start quickly and get a couple of goals, but I think it's going to be nervy towards the end. Leeds holding on for maybe dear life towards the end. But who knows? We might go out there and absolutely blow them away. But guys, fascinated to hear what you think on this one. What do you think on Junior Firpo? Are you frustrated as I am? Are you as frustrated as I am? And what do you think going forward for Leeds United in this one? Do you think it's one that we can pick up points? Obviously, we're looking at other teams in and around us who've got get games coming up that they might falter. So yeah, check on those fixtures as well in terms of Ipswich, Leicester and co. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Really appreciate you watching this video. Check out the Patreon once again, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'll see you in a bit.